See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best. So Davis, take it away.
Guys, welcome back to my channel, my Tallawahs. Let me know how I'm sounding audio wise. If I'm sounding a little bit distant, then let me know and I'll try to make a few adjustments to my audio. And let me know how your evening is going as well. What's on the menu? What's on the dinner menu? I always like to know what you guys are having for dinner, so please go ahead and let me know. Before I get started, I have to do a quick apology to Coach's desk, Mr. Coach's desk. He is under the assumption, people, that I have just racked up to Jamaica and I did not make him alert him, did not make him aware. In my defense, I wanted to surprise him at the game at the National Stadium against the USA, right? So that's my defense. That's my honest defense. But I don't think he's buying it. So I will publicly apologize because there was no ill intent with that one. Maybe he's coming guarded up because he thinks I'm going to talk about that tiny team in Manchester, not the one that wears blue, but I'm not going to talk about them. So that's probably why he has me up. But anyways, let me welcome my guest properly, Mr. Devon Porter and Coach's Desk. How are you guys?
Thank you for having me, Crystal. Devon, good evening. And it's her time to do the bantering. So I'll just take it. I'm a good sport because I have given her fair share. So no problem.
I'm not bantering. I'm just saying, like
The tiny team, okay.
And Crystal, it's a pleasure to be here once more. Coach Menzies, how you doing? I can see there is something happening right here, which I think it's my fault because I opened my mouth. but hopefully we can iron it out and everybody, all parties
We're good.
will be happy.
We're good, man. We're good. We're good.
No, Mr. Porter. No, you definitely. It's okay. I'm okay with it, but I did, in all honesty, wanted to surprise him, but it's okay. He was gonna find out one way or another, so that's absolutely fine. But how is your week going, guys? How's your week looking? Can you hear me?
Yes. Well, I'm pretty tired at this moment. Doing a lot of late nights, but I mean the work has to be put in. It's ball week, so definitely we have to talk about the Reggae Boyz. But separate and apart from that, I'm good. Big up to all the persons in the comment section, and it's good again to be over on Tallawah TV. Really appreciate being here again, Crystal.
Thank you. And for yourself, Mr. Porter, how are you?
I'm pretty good. My week was hectic. We have a lot of work doing right now. But luckily for me, I got the day off today. It's Veterans Day in Canada, so it's a government holiday. Not everybody gets it, but because I work with the government, we have some privilege, so we got the day off.
Veteran, guys, did you hear that? He did not stutter. Veteran holiday. I'm literally in great company. I've never heard of veteran holiday before, so I'm in the presence of greatness, no doubt. Before I continue, I want to give a warm big up to my cousin, Miss Davis. This is one of my favorite cousins, guys, and I think this is the first time that she's actually tuned into my YouTube channel. She don't follow football, so that means the world to me that she's here. Hopefully she can make herself comfortable and sit this one out with us and ride the wave with us until I bring this conversation to an end. Now, I know Coach's Desk is knackered despite being tired from a hectic day. He still blessed me with his time. So I think it's only right to actually start off the conversation with Coach's Desk, and then maybe Mr. Porter can also share his opinion on the squad that has been called up. I'm pretty sure everyone who's tuning in are familiar with the squad, but just in case you don't remember the squad, I will go ahead and read out the players who have been called up, and then we'll also touch on the players who have picked up injuries and who their replacements are. So the players that have been called up for our games of November fixtures for our World Cup qualifiers are, these are the players, guys, that were called up. Again, we will go back and look at the players who have had to be pulled out of the squad due to injuries. So we have Andre Blake, Dylan Barnes, Jadine White, Liam Moore, Adrian Mariappa, Damian Lowe, Kamal Lawrence, O'Neill Fisher, Gregory Lee, Alvis Powell, Anthony Grant, Ravel Morrison, Devon Williams, Javon Watson, Lamar Walker, Bobby Reed, Junior Flemings, Corey Burke, Javon East, Shamar Nicholson, Andre Gray, Michael Antonio, Kimar Roof, and Leon Bailey. What's you guys' initial thoughts on the call up? Were you pleased with the players that came into that were recalled, or were you a little bit disappointed that obviously there's two notable names there that have not been called up?
Well, initially when I saw the squad, I was a bit disappointed that initially Javian Brown wasn't there. Greg Lay was called up. I don't really have a problem with him, but I mean, there must be an issue with Amari Bell because he has been a part of the thing for a while now. He played, and it was some decent games that he played. Kind of shocking why he has not been called up. But like the fans will say, not everybody can be called up. But I was truly happy when Javian Brown was recalled due to unfortunate situation. But I'm happy that he's in and around the team.
Mr. Porter, and for yourself?
I kind of share the same views with Coach Menzies here, because Javian Brown, I think to me he's our best right back right now. He brings, and I'm pretty much sure that he will bring it to the Jamaican national team. Also, it's a bit concerning why we haven't seen Blair Turgot now for a while, and even Jamal Lowe back into the fold. I don't know the reason why, but I think these two players are quality players, and they can help us.
Yeah, to add to that too, I think Jamal Lowe's exclusion is an issue, as well as the Ethan Pinnock, because we heard that he was injured, and then on the weekend he played a brilliant game for Brentford. So I'm wondering what is happening where Pinnock is concerned. But again, I don't know the selection process, and it would be good to know what sort of thought go through the whole selection process of the team.
Based off what you've just ended on there, coach's desk, that's an interesting point, and I can see why you would raise those questions. But if anything, what that tells me is that there is no selection process. Because not to be biased, but we know, not because he plays for the Black, Gold, and Green, he has been one of the top performing centre backs since he's come up with Brentford, since he's made his Premier League debut, playing his heart out. So the fact that he has not been recalled, simply, it pretty much cannot be down to performance-wise. It has to be a different reason, and maybe we can't even hit the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah, I think Go ahead, Devon.
Yes, well, to add to that, I think the Jamaican public deserve an explanation why he is not included, because if he is, well, he's our top defender. He's the only defender we have probably playing in the English Premier League. So he must be of some quality. And I think that if he hadn't capped for Jamaica, maybe he would have gotten a call by the England coach. So I think the Jamaican public probably need some explanation why he's not included in the squad.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with you with that one. I'm always skeptical when it comes to English clubs, especially Premier League clubs, because I know they can be conniving at times, especially when it comes to what they deem to be third world countries. And I know that's how they see Jamaica, as a third world country when it comes to football. If it was cricket or perhaps track and field, then maybe the respect would automatically be there. But for the time being, they see us as third world country, and therefore they do not respect us. Now, the both of my guests, you guys are familiar with them if you're in the Jamaican football community. So you know these guys know football like the back of their hands, intelligent men. I want them to help me to understand how the injuries of Andre Gray and Dylan Barnes, both of those players have been pulled out of the squad because of injuries. I hope they make a speedy recovery. I'm hoping that both coaches Desk and Mr. Devon Porter can help me to understand how you take out a forward and bring in a right back. Obviously, like for like, you pull out a goalkeeper and you've recalled a goalkeeper. But I don't know, maybe my football knowledge is not that great. But how do you replace a striker with a right back? How does that one work?
For me, I do believe that they were probably top heavy, the team, in its initial selection process. I don't want to really call any names who should not have been, but it is ludicrous to really have taken out a forward and put in a defender. That makes no sense when you look at it. But I mean, possible. They thought that they needed an added insurance in the defense because, like I said, I do believe that we were top heavy. I think we're still short on what you'd call out and out wingers, but it still baffles me, Crystal, trying to understand what was the thought process again in taking out a forward who they say is injured and you replace him with someone who should have been there in the first place. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I share the same views, Coach Menzies. But I think, just to add one thing, I think they realized that they had made a mistake by not calling Javian Brown. So I mean the right moment come for them to add him. So, and as you said, we are top heavy. We have so many strikers, so many attackers there, and we're depleted in defense. So the right thing was to do was to bring Javian Brown in.
It's a bit of a strange one, there, coach. And I know that you've said that you don't want to call names. One thing that you pride yourself on your brand, and when you guys do your delivery in terms of opinion, it is oftentimes accurate or bare minimum respectful, to say the least. So I completely understand when you say you don't want to call out any names, but for me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the coach, or I don't know who make the selection process, but they've put themselves in a position where they could intentionally or unintentionally set up players who we know have been carrying injuries for failure. So set up a couple players for failure. And two of those players that comes to mind for me is Albert Powell and Corey Burke, who we know are not 100% fit. Why would you then hand them another call-up so soon to them, bouncing back from injuries, when you know how decisive this game is for us? Are you not unintentionally setting them up for failure? Because the majority of our football fans, their head gets hot very quickly. And you know what things is like on social media. The moment Alvis Power put a foot wrong, abuse will come his way. The moment Corey Burke put a foot wrong, abuse comes his way. So are they, I don't know who they is, I don't know who they are, but the people who do the selection process, are they not unintentionally setting up one or two players for failure?
It could be. It could be. You could be onto something. But not to throw anybody under the bus too much, though. One of the reasons could have been they call up other players and they aren't available. You know,
True.
I just looking on that side of the coin, but I totally agree with you. I mean, we saw what happened to Alvas Powell. He was taken out of the game, and the fact of the matter is he has not been playing any games for Philadelphia Union. Corey Burke came back from injury and he played a few minutes. So
Yeah.
we if I were to understand either of the situation, I could understand Corey Burke's situation.
Yeah.
But with Alvas Powell's situation, I mean, you're right. There's probably a setup for failure because what if the coach realized that, all right, Alvas indicates that he's fit, still has not gotten any match fitness, but he plays him as a starter. And then what will happen because of the intensity of the game? Then he breaks down again. That will be a man short and also a forced change that you probably would not want to make at the particular time of the game. So you're right. He's probably setting up himself, the coaching staff, and the player themselves. So I really agree with that point. But just to have a little fairness in the whole situation and objectivity, it could be a case where they call other players and they are not available for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
And
the next
yourself,
thing
Mr.
again,
Porter?
coach, this has been prolonging from the Gold Cup. It happens in the Gold Cup. You know, he has this hamstring problem, and it happened in one of the qualifiers earlier, and then it happens now that puts him on a long-term injury that they have to take him off the field. Haven't they consult with the Philadelphia Union medical staff to see that he is match sharp and ready to go, or they just select him just like that, and Philadelphia just sent him to come and play the game because Philadelphia want to see if he's at the standard to play.
So my issue is not with the players, as we've always said between the three of us, once a player puts on the black, gold, and green, we support them, especially if they give a good account of themselves. So my issue isn't with the players. My issue is just about whether or not this is from a place of goodwill. I'd like to think that it is, but like I said, this is a decisive game. We know how people are on social media. And I think if you want to protect one's mental health, then surely you probably should have exercised different options. Obviously, like Coach's desk quite rightly put it, one may have assumed, one may have realized that they made the wrong or an inaccurate decision. Hence why they've now reverted back and called up Javane Brown just for added cover. But that's something that should not have been missed, especially when you know that you're kind of light in that right back position. But we'll see. We see how we get on there. Another player who is an obvious miss, and I know he's a fan favorite, is Mr. McGee. How do you guys feel about that little magician not being included in the call up? I see plenty of smiles.
You know why I smile? Because I I had him on the show just after the squad on my show just after the squad was released, and he indicated that he was looking forward to it because of some things that might be in the pipeline for him. For me, I think I've said it before and I say it here again that it's kind of topsy turvy where the youngster is concerned, and it has been happening in Gold Cup. You play him this game, you don't play him the next game. And the coach has all the right because probably he's looking for something in a particular game, a type of player, whatever system he's trying to work, right? But I believe that if he constantly play this youngster regularly, he possibly would have improved on his game as a Devon Williams, who has been playing well, a lot of trust has been put into Devon Williams. I'm not certain if it is because of the position. That could be a factor. However, I believe that there possibly some trust issues where the coach and the player is concerned. I mean, if you're bringing him in, why not use him? You play him in the US game, which is a tough game, and then the following game he's not there. He's not even a second. You understand? He didn't play in the Canada game, and I don't believe he played in the Honduras game as well. So it set away where Maggie is concerned. For me, if I'm going to miss him in the game, I don't know, because I think if we're talking about like players, you're gonna have other persons in the team that possibly can do what he does and more. But to have him in the team, it wouldn't be a bad thing either, and that's what I say on that.
Well, Tyreek is a young player. Tyreek is, how old is he? 21 years old. Every team, every international team, have one or two young players that may not be on the top of their game right now, but these are the players that they brought in to learn, and sooner or later, these are the players going to be the player down the road that's going to take this team forward. So you have to have one or two young players in the fold, and I think he's talented enough. And if you put players around him that can aid his game, we know his shortcomings. He does not defend a lot. But if you put players around Tyreek to aid his game, he can hurt people because he is very, very talented. And I think they should stick with him. And you never know, one day he might be the hero.
Crystal, you see that comment you have on the screen?
Listen, I'm surprised. People are telling me stuff that I did not know. Coach's desk is in England, guys. You see this? Wow. You think you know a man and he comes out with something that completely floors you.
Broad man.
Probably because I'm on Tallawah TV.
No.
Yeah.
You're Mr. Rich over here, Richie Rich, flying out in your private jet.
I wish. I'd be in El Salvador.
Speaking of development, since you've both touched on that area, in this decade, and I know it might sound ridiculous, but I have to ask this: in this decade, are we ever going to see that trio of McGee, Marshall, and Peter Lee line up in that in one starting 11? Because once upon a time, Marshall was our poster boy in terms of youth and looking to the future. Then came Peter Lee, and now we've got McGee. But it just seems to be that we get them in drips and drabs. One moment they are our poster boy, all attention is on them, then they're just omitted from the team. How do you expect these players to aid their development if you're only putting them in games here and there, and you automatically put them under pressure because you bring them into games that are decisive in terms of we need a result, and the result has to go our way?
You're absolutely right. But I don't see this happening at any time soon. I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's maybe for the 2026 cycle, but not right now.
Probably you could see them in a charity game, but I doubt that they'll ever be together in the team. And I think you forget about Lamar Walker as well. He's a very talented youngster. He is in the team. And you see, for me, that's why I'm not really too worried about Tyreek McGee's being absent. Because he would have been replaced by, I would think, Lamar Walker, who is another youngster. So if you're trading spaces, because he has not been playing a lot of games in the team, then I could understand that. But I mean, if we're taking the youngsters in the team, give them a run, but not just give them a run because you want to give them a run either. You know? It's not about that. But I mean, it's kind of sad because for the past few years, like you said, the development of our youngsters, they did so well at the youth and the junior level, but now they have not matriculated into the senior team. And one would say, Crystal, is that the national team is not for football development. That should be happening at their club. And once they are being developed at their club, then the national team will not refuse them because of the exploits that they are basically doing. So it's kind of tricky.
It's an interesting one.
And to add to that, coach, is, it is puzzling how one Kahim Paris, I mean, has been playing good for his club, and he can never get a call up at no point in time. I mean, what is with that? I mean, I'm pretty much sure he's playing at a higher level than other players who are in the squad right now. I'm not gonna call any names, but I think they should take a look at him.
I do not disagree. Coach's desk, I'm wary of your time. So before you leave us, unfortunately, can you please run me through your starting 11?
No, I'm not gonna leave you. I will not leave you.
I thought you said that we're running off time. No?
No,
he will make time for you. Trust me.
Okay, then we can keep the conversation going then.
Yes. Well, in terms of starting 11, you see, Crystal, the starting 11 thing is a kind of sticky one, But I mean, for me, a starting 11 would have been Blake, Kemar Lawrence, Liam Moore, Damian Lowe, Javane Brown. That's a 4. Then you have what's his name? Anthony Grant, Devon Williams, Ravel Morrison. That's what, 2. Yes. And then you have Kemar Roof, Leon Bailey, and Mikel Antonio. That would be my starting 11.
I feel like you're sitting on some good bit of information there, because you don't seem too pleased when you say that would be my starting 11.
Because I don't think that team will start. That team will not start.
I heard, I saw a few tweets floating around before I came on here that Javon Watson apparently is rumored to be in the team. I'm not sure if that means part of the starting 11 or possibly a super sub. I don't know what's going on there, but I did hear that he is rumored to be getting some minutes under his belt.
And I think the minutes would be starting.
So would that be Hacker in instead of
Devon?
Would it be Devon, right? So it'd be Hacker and Grant.
Yeah, that's what I'm surmising that will happen.
That's an interesting choice. Mr. Porter, what do you make of that?
It's a good team that he named. I like the back line. The back line is, I like Anthony Grant in midfield. I like Devon Williams in midfield. I like Leon Bailey on the left, Kemaru on the right, and Mikel Antonio up top. And he's not gonna leave Bowser out, so you have to stick him in there. You have to find some way to play.
I'm Team Bowser, so
Bowser and Kemaru, because you need goals, and this is a game that you need goals. So if you have the strikers there and you're top heavy, then you have to go after them with everything that you have.
I'm not going to fight against the selection or potential selection of Mr. Shamar Nicholson, because I do actually quite well, I know everyone on the panel and also people in the comment section rate Boza in terms of his quality, ability, and overall contribution so far. Let's remind ourselves that he has had 3 goal involvement, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 2 goals and 1 assist, right,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah, that's correct.
So I know there's always this criticism that he should be doing more, and you can't really argue against that because he has missed a handful of chances, but the times that we have been able to celebrate as a nation, as one, he has been involved in all of those goals. I think maybe with the exception of who was it that scored? With the exception of O'Neill Fisher's goal, don't think he was involved with that one, but all the other goals he's played a part. So I wouldn't be too upset if I saw Nicholson in the starting 11. But when you have a
He
player
will.
like, yeah, he will
He
be.
will
I
be.
think
Yeah, I think he will be.
Antonio won't start.
I
And
know
and
that's
that's
not going
and
to
that's
go
the
down
reason
well.
that's the reason why I said you have to find some way to play Antonio, Boza, and Roof. So I would have Roof coming off the right side and Antonio and Boza up top.
Okay. Okay. We'll have to wait and see what that starting 11 looks like tomorrow. Guys, I believe the game kicks off 9:05 Jamaica time. If you're based elsewhere in the world, you'll have to check your Google time to get a accurate time for your kickoff. But if you are based in Jamaica like most of us, your kickoff time will be 9:05. How are you guys looking? How are you guys feeling going into tomorrow's match? Mind you, we're equal in terms of matches played, games won and games lost. So we're pretty much even across the board when we look at it from that position. But how you guys feel going up against El Salvador?
I need 3 points. 3 points. I need 3 points. And these fingers are not indicating the Wolverine claws. I just need 3 points, right? I do believe though the El Salvador team is a technical team, but they would have lost 2 of their top defenders. I think due to card suspension. Uh, they are a technical team, and I certainly believe that we have to ensure that we don't show them any respect in their home. We just have to take the bull by the horn and we just go out there, press like we're on the ironing board, and just do what we need to do to get that result. I need 3 points. That's all I'll say. I need 3 points. The Jamaican team should not try and start slow. We have to get into the rhythm as early as possible so that we throw the team off their game. They're at home, they're going to be buzzing in confidence. So we can't sit back. We have to just go at them because I need 3 points. 3 points.
And for you, Mr. Porter?
One thing I know about this El Salvador team is that when they start their game, they start fast. They press you very, very hard. You have to identify that and play past the pressure. You have to move that ball quickly to get it up top to your big men because your big men will hurt them and can hurt them. You know, Jamaica, as coach says, we can't sit back. We have to attack them with everything that we got. One thing I notice about that team is that they're very they have short players and they don't defend crosses well. And if we can identify that and know that that's one of their weaknesses, then we can employ that strategy and try to beat them with crosses. I watched the game against the Mexicans and they were dodging bullets, and Jamaica have to do the same thing. That very lethargic thing that we do from defense to forward with the ball. We can't do that anymore against a team like this because they're a pesky team and they will just come at you.
Absolutely. And it would be silly of me not to ask this question, but how do you think Leon Bailey will perform in tomorrow's game? I trust that he will be part of the starting 11, but already people are comparing Leon Bailey to Kemar Roof. Some are saying that Kemar Roof have played less games than Leon Bailey and is sitting on the same number of goals on as Mr. Bailey. So how do you think Leon will perform in tomorrow's match?
If whatever strategy the coach employs, I think Leon can be playing a pivotal part in this team. He can be the player that's going to hurt El Salvador. But you have to allow him to play. You can't shackle him. Leon like to play out and out football. And if you shackle Leon, you're not going to get a lot from him. So just allow him to play.
I like
Yeah.
what you ended there on Mr. Porter. Coach is there. Sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
I was just saying that Bailey will want to prove something. I think it's long overdue for him to light up being in the national color. So he wants to prove something. And also his new coach that he stole from Kemar Roof.
Wow, what a link. What a link. Yes.
Yeah,
And,
Steven Gerrard,
and they've been having some talks about the number 7. Give it up or keep
Yes.
it. So you can imagine he wants to go out there and impress, whether in this game or the US game. Impress his new coach, do well for the few fans that will be at the stadium. So I think he wants to prove something. How will he play? I don't know. Will he be allowed to be isolated if he gets that opportunity? It's gonna be worries in El Salvador, I believe. But if he's not isolated, he's going to struggle.
Just to elaborate there on what you ended
And
on in terms of the isolation of Leon Bailey, being that you're both like football men inside and out, coaching the beautiful game, how do you get the best out of Leon Bailey?
Yeah, like I said, he needs to be isolated. He needs to take on players. You need to put the ball out so he can run at them, cut in, and unleash the venom from that left foot. So it's just how the system is set up. You have certain players like a Leon Bailey who thrive in a particular system, and one might ask, then how come he's not, playing well in the Jamaica team? It could be confidence. It could be the system that he's playing in. But I hope that he can come to life in this game. But like it's simple for a player like Leon Bailey. Just let him be isolated and he's good to go.
and coach, just to add something about that what you said, isolate Leon. This is the reason why I said that Kemar Roof and Antonio should be playing in this starting 11 with Leon, because Antonio will attract players like two players marking him, and now you give Leon that space to work,
That's freedom,
and
right?
he will hurt them.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I agree with you, Devon.
Definitely agree with you on your choice of players there, Mr. Porter. Because like you said, the type of player Mikel Antonio is, he would naturally bring players towards him, thus leaving a player like Leon Bailey unmarked and basically able to roam free and be the danger man that we expect him to be.
And it doesn't make sense that you go to war and have your big guns and you don't use them. You can't be using a 9mm when you have a caliber 50, a 50 cal. You have to use the big guns, and this is the time then you have the Roof, the Antonio, and the Bowser. You have to, and the Bailey. you have to find some ways to implement them to play together.
Absolutely. Guys, in the comment section, I'm going to take this one to 1 hour. I did say to both coaches, Mr. Porter and Coaches Desk, that I'll only be keeping them for 15 to 20 minutes. But when you're having a good conversation, it's kind of difficult to just cut it off like that. So I'm going to take it to 1 hour, meaning we have 20 more minutes to speak. So please feel free to send your questions our way and we'll do our best to answer them. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit because I didn't get the time to ask either Mr. Porter or Coach's Desk about their good friend Mr. Michael Ricketts and his statement in the last press conference, his closing statement. I know both guys are still spring chickens, but even as a spring chicken, my memory isn't that great. So I'm going to kindly remind them of Mr. Ricketts' closing remarks. Let me just play that video and that recording for you guys once more. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Let's rewind quickly.
Nation. Again, I want to say thanks to you all, and may God bless you, and hopefully we'll make a profit on November 16th.
I find it funny though. I don't know if you guys heard those closing remarks, but basically Mr. Ricketts says that hopefully he can make a profit on November 16 against the USA at the office. So I want to ask my special guest, Mr. Devon Porter and Coach's Desk, what they make of their good friend, Mr. Michael Ricketts' warm words.
You know, I was there, no, Crystal. I was there and I laughed.
So Coach, you
go
were
ahead,
there.
Devon. Go ahead. Yeah, I was there.
Listen,
go ahead. Let me laugh.
That does not come off well with the Jamaica public, because you're putting what is at hand, which is a football, a World Cup qualifiers game, and the backseat, and you're talking about making a profit. We need to win those games, the El Salvador game and the US game, and hopefully that the fans come into the stadium and cheer on the team and give the team a push, an extra push, so they can come out victorious. But when you're gonna talk about making a profit, it's all about the money, and the team is taking a backseat. You know, that's not good. Not good.
Sorry to cut you off there, Mr. Porter, but it's such a distasteful comment to make. And I didn't appreciate the laughter in the background neither, because I was thinking, what's so funny? Are you talking about profit, as in you're looking to put back into grassroots football, or is this profit to fatten your pockets? But the reason why that comment spoke volumes was when you listen to Miss Babsy Grange, she actually said something completely different. Paraphrasing, she was saying, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to beat them, wishing the guys good luck. And then here you have our president, the man who's supposed to be leading the ship, coming on shortly after talking about hopefully we can make a profit, smiling from ear to ear. So that was quite distasteful. And I think we're all pretty much on the same page with Mr. Ricketts and the rest of the JFF.
Yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, distasteful. I don't know how you can think about even making a profit, Sir Devon and Crystal and the audience, when you're only looking at 5,000 fans.
5,000, yes.
How could you look at making a profit there? I would believe, though, that he was playing on the word profit by us getting the 3 points, and that would be us making a profit on the game. So if he's talking in that light, then it's quite acceptable. But if he's not talking in that light, then I mean it's unacceptable. And like I said, it is clear, evidently clear, that you won't be able to make a profit with 5,000 fans. So that should be the furthest thing from your mind. But I say no more.
Well, Coach, I hope you're right that he's saying that we profit by winning and getting 3 points.
I think this is coach's best in his finest form, trying to see the good in the bad. I don't think that's what Mr. Ricketts meant, but if we're trying to stay in good faith, then I'm going to sway with coach's desk, but I'm hesitant to go in that direction.
No, you can't hesitate in a Crystal, but I am looking where the team is concerned. I'm not following that comment that he said. That profit, the word, I am looking for it in us gaining the profit in the win column so that we can gain 3 profitable points. That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, then there you go. I think this one we're approaching what I'm hoping to be would be history in the making, whether that be us qualifying for our second men's World Cup, whether it's time to, give the crown to someone else in terms of who should be leading our ship. So pretty soon people are going to be walking around with straight faces if things don't go our way. And I say our way in terms of us getting to that World Cup. So maybe soon you're going to be seeing a lot of straight faces, and with that hopefully there might be a new crown handed to someone in the near future. I don't know who that person is going to be in terms of the next president, but people should be very careful with their words, because as I did say on one of my live in relation to the Reggae Girls, that those at the top, they've reached a point where social media it can be either for you or against you. And they put themselves in a position where you're living through social media day and age, and the power of social media, it cannot be overlooked. So some of the stuff that they might have said in the past and they might have gotten away with it, or they did get away with it, I can almost guarantee you now that this crop of Reggae Boyz fans, Reggae Girls fans, both young and old, will not settle for anything less than we deserve. So when you're going around trying to entertain your friends, be very careful with your words, because we are very passionate about our football, just like the English, just like the Brazilians, and we're not here to just kicky with anyone. So please be mindful of your words, especially when you're making jokes about money, when you're not paying both your women's team and your men's team. So if there is any joke about profit, make sure that it's a sensible one, and that's all I'm going to say in that regard.
Worse with the new media around now. You see, you have that on speed dial, Crystal. So I mean, it was a shameful comment, and I will emphasize it again. You only have 5,000 fans getting in the stadium. How would you be thinking about profit at that time? You can't think about profit. There's no way you'd make a profit from that.
There's no way.
No way. The stadium holds up to close to 40,000 fans. And you're not getting not even 1/3 of that, and you're thinking about profit. As I say, probably at the 3 points matter.
And it's weird because like football is supposed to be, something that's like fair and equal for all, because that's something that people try to drum home to us, especially where racism and anti-discrimination is concerned. They always say football is for all. How is football for all when we essentially belong apparently to a third world country? Football is supposed to be for all, but you're pricing out the average Jamaican. Where are they supposed to get that sort of money from to go to the games? So you're telling me that people who love football, just like the three of us, have to forcefully watch the game on TV? And it's not as if it's on Television Jamaica where it's free. They have to watch it on Flow. So clearly, those at the top, they're not catering under the mindset of football is for all. Football is for those who have a job and can afford to watch the black, green, and gold play either in person or on the TV. And that's something that don't sit well with me, because they've done it once or twice where even if it's not a competitive match, they're playing friendlies and they're charging you to watch friendlies. So for me, like, when they go down that direction, it just goes to show that I know like Coach's Desk is trying to see the good in them, but I, for one, can't see it. Maybe I need to go get my eyes examined.
No, Christopher, I'm not trying to see the good. I'm trying to see the good in the statement. I'm not an X-ray machine.
And since Paul say you're very diplomatic.
when he's trying to see the good in the statement, but I'm struggling to see the good because all I can see is a bunch of men who all look the same, sound the same, trying to fatten their pockets. But hopefully I am wrong and that is not the case. But yeah, like I said, football is supposed to be a beautiful game that is meant to be available to all, and the average Jamaican, unfortunately, will not be at the stadium witnessing history come November 16th, unfortunately. Coach's desk.
Say that again.
Yeah, I was just ending on by saying that unfortunately, in terms of the ticket prices for these games, the average Jamaican will not be in the stadium cheering on the boys for what is looking like to be history and could possibly be on the right side of history.
Yeah, definitely, that's true. Plus, this I know that what they're trying to do, but the ticketing system, it was. I'm trying to find a word. I can't find one right now, but it was disastrous. If you ask me, it was a lot of back and forth to get people to, and then when the system was not working, you have to be calling a hotline number so that you can get the ticket. It was just, even though it's a pilot, and in a pilot project, you're gonna have issues. But I mean, the pilot should have probably run with a few people, like a 50 people first, because that's how you do it in research. You do a pilot with 50 people just to see how it works, the concerns that would have come out of it, and then you run with it. But trust me, it was so the I mean, people are going to shy away from those stuff, this online thing. Not many persons are inclined to want to go on the online to purchase stuff. I mean, the price in a time like this, a pandemic, many probably would have lost their jobs, or the streams of income is not so overflowing as it used to be outside of the pandemic. So you're correct. It should have been probably a little bit more thought in it. So probably that's why I'm saying make the profit, because it's exuberant. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because when I saw the price of ticket for the grandstand, I said, wow, I mean, how are people gonna find all this money in this time to buy tickets to go to the stadium? But the Jamaican fans love the team, and they will find the money somehow to go watch their team play. It's not about them paying an exorbitant amount of money, but they just want to go and cheer their team on and watch the lads play.
It's an interesting one because even me, being somebody who's based overseas, even I look at the prices, I'm thinking this is ridiculous. Do I really want to spend this? And that's not to say that the boys aren't worth the price, but I'm just looking and thinking, but what about the average Jamaican? And obviously, they've also said, there is an alternative way of purchasing the tickets. So I believe you can head down to the head office. So that is an alternative option. But again, average Jamaican, can they afford to take time out of their working day to head down to the office? Can they really head down to the office because of COVID restriction? Also, there are parts of the island that I believe in Kingston, I think they have half day on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, right? So can you afford to take time out of your working day to head down to the office, especially if you don't have access to debit or credit cards? Can you really afford to trek all the way into Kingston to buy a ticket? Would it not make sense if you distributed a few tickets in various supermarkets up and down the country so that everybody can have a fair and equal chance of getting their hands on the ticket? I don't know, but it just seems like the idea was one that didn't really contain deep thinking. But I don't know, maybe I'm just reading into things not fairly.
And that's a good idea you come up with. I mean, to distribute ticket in certain places so it's accessible by people. But I don't know if the JFF thinks that way. They need to be more robust in their thoughts, and try to get reach the people.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's something that they need to consider. They just need to be more proactive. They just always seem to be lacking something. Even with the press conference with their major announcement for the ticketing system, I could swear they must have started that press conference at least 20 to 30 minutes late. I'm watching a press conference, an important press conference apparently, and people are setting up. One would have thought that you would have done your mic check and your setup beforehand, maybe a few hours before you invite your journalists, your media people into the room. It's a little bit embarrassing because you're meant to be the football federation for our national sides, and there you are just fooling around and kind of look like you're improvising a bit. You're starting off a press conference and you didn't even do a mic check. People can't even hear you. So I don't know. Everything just seems to be an improvisation way of operating when it comes to our federation. So that's probably goes to tell you that deep thinking isn't really part of their game plan.
Yeah, because even I was watching a thing on my phone about the English national team, and the players that called up to play that game against, is it what, Albania?
Hmm.
When they all pulled up, there was a designated person there that collects all the passports. So as the player comes out of their vehicle, they get all the documents and have them in place. One person. So when they go to the airport, they don't have to be searching around. Everything is in order. Everything is in place. This is the way we need to operate. We have to get our house in order.
Definitely, and it just comes down to the finer details and as well for us. Like you said, getting our house in order, making sure that there's a liaison person who is there. The liaison person, in terms of documentation, can't be the press guy. The press guy is the press guy, so you
It's a
can't then
press guy.
ask. He's the press guy. Same
Yeah.
way you can't ask the kit man to hold the passport. There's a
No.
person, because no disrespect to the kit man. I'm not saying you're not educated enough to handle passport, but that's not your line of work. You probably
No.
have to upskill yourself, right? So it makes more sense for you to just get a designated person who handles the passport, handles the visas. But common
True.
sense doesn't seem to be common amongst our federation, sadly. But hopefully they will live and learn. But I'm not going to hold my breath when it comes to them.
Well, I mean, as time goes by, I mean, I hope they learn by their mistakes, because if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, it's not a mistake anymore. It becomes a habit. It becomes a way of life. So you have to. I mean, you gotta make mistakes, and you gotta learn by them, and you have to correct them. Bottom line.
Absolutely. Guys, I have 2 more minutes remaining with Mr. Porter. Apologies there for Coach's desk. He's had to dash and leave us, but thank you so much to Coach's desk for stopping by and blessing us with a moment of his time. So guys, fire away with your final questions. Let us know your thoughts on the selected players that's been called up for our 2 games in the November World Cup qualifying squad, and also let us know your score predictions just to end on the 1 hour mark. And I'm going to actually spin that question to Mr. Devon Porter and ask him what's his score prediction, and also who's your goal scorers.
I can see this Jamaica team winning 3-1. I think Leon Bailey, Kemar Roof, Mikel Antonio.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like the sound of that. I'm going to include Boza. I know you guys are saying that he's almost bank on starting, so I would say maybe a goal or assist for Boza, and I'm just judging that based on performance for a club and also performance for a country when called up on. But I do think that your score prediction and goal scorers is very likely to happen. Let me just respond to this comment here from Wayne. I've felt this way about the JFF for a very long time. I might not express my views when it comes to them, but when they do silly stuff like they did in the last apparently important press conference, you just kind of have to call them out because, like I said, you're living in a social media day and age where little stupidity will not go unnoticed and it will be addressed. And obviously, we will do so respectfully. Whether or not they want to take our comment on board, that's entirely down to them. But we're not going to just let nonsense slide because part of being the 12th man is to call out wrongdoing, whether that's on the field of play or off the field of play. So yeah, I've always felt a certain type of way about the JFF and the way they handle business or the way they don't handle business in relation to the men's side and the women's side. As you guys can see, Coaches Desk has rejoined us, but I think he's a little bit busy. So again, I'll thank him once more for blessing us with a moment of his time. Guys, I've got 3 more minutes remaining, and then I'm going to have to love you and leave you. So again, let me know your score predictions. Mr. Porter has already given us his predictions. I'm going to sway with Mr. Porter and say that I do believe that, and Coaches Desk actually, that I do believe that the Reggae Boyz will get the job done tomorrow, and we'll be going to bed with 3 points in the bag. So let me know how you guys are feeling.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got cut off a little bit there, so
No,
I'm
that's
charging
okay.
now.
That's okay.
Yeah, I definitely want us to get the 3 points. Can we do it? Yes, I think we have the team to do it. It's just that we need to just go out there, believe in what we're doing. The momentum is basically shifting our end now. I do believe that it is now our time, so we have to just capitalize on it and move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is Wayne saying here? At the bottom, he's saying we might have to wait until the boys come back to the office before we can see that type of vibe. And I'll
Yeah.
speak about that. Go on, go on, Mr. Porter.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, if we can sing some Bob Marley songs to spur on the boys, that would be very good in the office.
I don't know what it's like at the office with football. This will be my first time watching football at the office, so I don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like, but hopefully it's going to be a vibrant one, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And hopefully I get to witness history and be on the right side of history. So yeah, we're going for another 3-0. Mikel Antonio at the double and Kemar Roof. That's not impossible. It can happen. Before I let you guys go, I would like to say I'm trust that Coach's Desk will most certainly be doing a live over on his channel tomorrow. So if you guys are not stopping by my channel, please do stop by Coach's Desk. You're more than likely to see Mr. Devon Porter over there as well, amongst many other excellent panelists. So do stop by their channel tomorrow. I don't know, Coach. What time are you starting for your live watch along?
I might start the same time when I have the triple treat starting, or a little bit later, probably a half an hour later. Yeah,
Okay.
depending on what time I reach home from training.
Yeah,
Okay, so
is El Salvador time is an hour behind us now?
I believe so. I believe that's what I
Yes, they're 1 hour behind us now.
Behind us. So what the game is 9 p.m. Eastern time or
It's 9 p.m. our time, but I think 8 their time.
oh, okay, their time. Yeah, okay, all right.
So as I've said, you guys, tomorrow do check out Coach's Desk channel. I trust that he does have a stellar lineup for you, so you will not be disappointed in terms of conversation. It will be a gripping one, especially if we get 3 points in the bag. Fresh God, yes, I am in Jamaica. And I am in Jamaica. I actually came home for my granddad's funeral. So yeah, I am here.
Oh, my condolences.
That's okay. And yes, I will be seeing Coach's Desk. He thought I was going to go back and not see him, but as God as my witness, that was not going to be the case. If we
I
both
believe you, Crystal. Just
thank
accept
you, sir.
condolences from me. I'm
Thank you.
sorry to hear that you have to be here on an occasion like this. But yeah, I can be a chaperone, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you for the condolences. And yeah, definitely. Hope to see you what's this, in a week's time? Something like that. Hopefully we'll be celebrating, maybe grab a red stripe or two. Mr. Porter, don't you worry yourself. I will be eating and drinking for both of us and also cheering on the boys for both of us at the stadium.
Thank you. I know you'll do that.
Once more, guys, I'm going to allow both of my panelists to let you know where to find them on social media. I trust that you are all familiar with Coach's Desk, so you'll know how to find them on YouTube. But I'll allow them to end on where you can find them across all social media. Starting off with Mr. Porter.
I don't even know my Instagram. I'm telling you. I think it's
Let me see if I can get it up.
Devon Porter 593. They can find me at Devon Porter 593.
That is the name on Instagram, people. So
Yes.
you can find Devon over there on Instagram. What I'll do actually in the description, I'm going to leave both of their Instagrams, so Coach's Desk and Mr. Porter's Instagram in the description box. But I'll move over to Coach's Desk and he can tell you
my
guys.
Twitter is same Devon Porter.
Twitter is the same.
Yes.
And for you, Coach's Desk, are you available on all social media?
Yes, Twitter, Coach's Desk or Coach Minzy, whichever one you'll find one. Instagram, Coach's Desk. Facebook, Coach's Desk. YouTube, Coach's Desk.
There you go, guys.
And thank you very much for having me, Crystal.
No, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Always a pleasure speaking to the both of you. I think we share similar opinions. Maybe not when it comes to our club, but I'm not going to go down that route because I don't want to upset anyone. I'm actually surrounded by two Manchester United fans. One of my favorite cousins, and not one of my best friend actually. So they're both Manchester United fans, and I want to wake up tomorrow morning, so I'm not going to touch on their side. But I will say thank you to Mr. Devon Porter and Coach's Desk.
Tell them high five. Next time you see them, tell them high five.
I think they can hear you, but I'm not going to reiterate what you just said. I'm not going to repeat what you just said because, like I said, you don't upset someone that you sleep next to or someone that cook your food. So I'm not going to do nothing to upset them.
That's true.
Before I love you and leave you guys, I want to say a massive thank you to both of my panelists, Mr. Devon Porter and Coach's Desk himself. Thank you guys for blessing me with a moment of your time. The guys in the comment section, thank you so much for taking your precious time out to listen to myself and my wonderful panelists. I hope that you have a lovely evening. I hope you enjoy your dinner. If you're having an early morning start, depending on where you're based in the world, I hope you have a lovely Friday. Most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully our weekend will begin with 3 delightful points against El Salvador tomorrow. Until next time, guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.